Draw a card, any card. Oh, you drew this card? Great. Every time you sit down for the next week, it sounds like a whoopee cushion. Welcome to the Deck of Many Things. And me, Brian Von VA, I will be your narrator as we read. So, my DM gave us a deck of many things. Here we go. Possible Wild Beyond the Witchlight spoilers ahead. If you like this and you haven't finished it, leave now. No? Okay, we're all good? Great. We were playing Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Anybody out there who doesn't like spoilers, get out. All right, cool. And last session was right after we killed Bavlarina. Now we got to Bavlarina's bedroom and went into the room that had the Frog of Holding, what our group was calling it. Guy, a changeling sorcerer whose whole thing was subtle cast, immediately used one of the identify scrolls on it. We learned that if we stuck our hand in its mouth, it said the name of something, then took our hand out, the thing, if it was in the Frog of Holding, would show up in our hand. Guy kept sticking his hand in and saying, all the platinum pieces in this frog, all the gold pieces in this frog, etc. So we got rich off that. Cha-ching! And he also kept sticking his hand in and saying, the strongest magic item currently in this frog. So we got rich off of that as well. I was playing a human wizard who was reskinned to be an investigator with superpowers named Jonah. And I had kept saying various different specific objects. Magic blindfold, charm. My character ended up having the hots for her. Woohoo. Another character who's also a changeling, whose whole thing is it that they were the ghosts of Christmas. This time they were the ghost of Christmas past, kept asking for nice literature and such. The ghost of Christmas past ended up eventually getting a little music box thing, that when he opened it, it immediately started playing the Twilight theme song. Sorry, I sort of died mentally there. He closed it immediately after and gave it to Jonah to break. Yes, Jonah, score! Jonah threw it all the way across the room onto the first sturdy metal thing he could see, and it shattered into, I'll try to remember the exact number the DM gave us, 574 pieces. Sorry, round of applause for that DM. After this, my character half-jokingly stuck his hand in and said, deck of many things, and pulled his hand out. There was a deck of cards in his hand. Jonah began to use one of the identify scrolls on it, but before he could, Guy quickly telekinetically pulled a card. Guy was genuinely betting that it'd be a deck of illusions, because he kept asking for the strongest magic item in the frog, and wasn't getting it. The DM asked Guy to pick a number, and Guy chose 8. He got lucky that he didn't get a bad card. He pulled the throne card and got expertise in persuasion and ownership of a well somewhere in the world. Jonah's eyes were so wide that they could pretty much envelop his entire face. Our DM said that this was a very toned-down version of the deck of many things, and that was why Guy wasn't pulling it. Jonah told the others to keep this a secret from the rest of the party in order to not put them in danger of pulling a bad card, and the two agreed. Jonah stashed the deck back in the frog. I am now having Jonah roll wisdom saves whenever he is alone with the frog to shake off the temptation to draw a card. Jonah had a realization that he told no one about that was a good idea of how to scam the heck out of the deck of many things. The Frog of Holding and the deck of many things are too compatible. That time, the fighter decided to go off on his own at night in a cursed area looking for a creature whose only interaction with us had been to throw an avalanche at us. Just had to share this. We were a level 8 party. In our last session, we were investigating an area ruled by a vampire and having a free day. I, lizard folk druid, went off on my own to investigate and got some really good info. Our sorcerer learned about some runes that are frankly a little broken. Our paladin and fighter went to the library of the castle and also found some nice information, including some info on a stone wolf we had seen earlier. It had appeared right before we were hit by an avalanche, and it was described as being a protector of the mountain. So, after some looking around the nearby town, then learning a bit more, the fighter decides, I want to go talk to the guardian. This would normally be a good idea, as the invading vampire would clearly be an enemy of the guardian of the mountain and the druids the vampire kidnapped. But the fighter had forgotten that the first thing the wolf had done was throw an avalanche at us. So he goes off on his own, in the dark, to the place that we were hit by the avalanche. He encounters one of the druids who had been corrupted by the vampire's magic. He tries to fight it, but deals next to no damage while taking tons of damage. The DM decides to, on the fly, decide that the runes the sorcerer found can be used to teleport after a certain amount of turns, simply in order to keep the idiot fighter from dying. Turns out the reason he wasn't dealing much damage was because the creature had resistance to all damage and healed in the darkness. The fighter had dark vision and thus never made any light. Only because my character didn't have dark vision and made a light to compensate, we were able to scare it off. After it downed our paladin in one strike with a 91 damage hit, landed a crit, and had an extra 4d10 due to a special property. Take this as a lesson. Don't wander off in the dark without your party. Nowhere is safe. Duh! It's rewind time. Can we never hear that again? Chronomancy Wizard prevents a crit. Just had to get this off my chest from the other day. Whew! I recently managed to put together a table of local people to play, and so far it's been really great. Session 4 was our longest yet, lasting around 6 hours with a pizza break. And my lord, what a session. Are you flaunting? You flaunting. Our party is comprised of Noi, female variant human gnome, Cordelia, female water genocide druid, Nico, male halfling ranger, and my character, Theodore, male variant human wizard. At the end of the previous session, we were told upon the next long rest, we would all level up to level 2. And I was incredibly hyped, as it meant I was finally going to take Chronomancy, as my subclass, which I had already planned with our DM. A long while into the session, we were tasked by the guildmaster of our adventuring guild to look further into a group of apparently rogue guild members that had been viciously attacking and persecuting various exotic smaller humanoids that had been living on the outskirts of the city, before being forced to flee in the sewers further within the city walls for safety. While there, we were told there was also a warrant for the capture of a known crook, known to reside in a similar part of the outskirts. Upon arriving in the outskirts, in the Silver Hook, a seedy area of town known for its black markets and underhand dealing, we charmed some local knowledge out of an urchin, hopefully creating an informant for later. This led us to a bar that was situated in what looked like a large sewer space, with gushing water from large pipes around the edges. We quickly noticed our target, Johnny Rattail, but then also managed to pick up on some whispers that sounded very promising with our primary investigation. We decided to sit at a table a little way off, while Noi got us some drinks and tapped the bartender for more information. However, on our way back, she was drunkenly assaulted by one of the men we were suspicious about, but she deftly dodged the bottle attack. Between herself and myself, we persuaded 21 and 22, the thugs, that we meant no harm and to leave us alone. Noi then left to track them to their base stealthily, so we were one party member down. Disappointed at the lack of an entertaining bar fight to watch, Johnny Rattail got up and promptly threw a dagger at Nico. Combat was initiated, and it looked like it might just be something fierce as we were backed into our corner already. I managed to send Johnny's thug buddy to sleep, but that still left the main crook himself. He drew a second dagger and went straight to gut Nico, rolling a natural 20. And then it happened. The moment I had been waiting for. I saw the scared look on Nico's face, and with an expression that can be only described as seriousness suppressing glee, I looked our DM straight in the eye and told him to re-roll, as I was using my reaction to use my new Chronal Shift ability. The room froze as the DM rolled again, knowing that whatever the second result was, he'd have to take it. We waited for what felt like an eternity with bated breath, until he said he rolled a 2 for 5 total. The excitement and the adrenaline instantly hit as we all took in the outcome. It came in that too excited to talk and breathe kind of way. We were all over the moon. I described how that moment of time was rewound for Johnny Rattail, and the new circumstances played out, causing Nico to go completely unharmed. Never have I been happier to play a support-based character and to help out my friends when they're in need. I know it's only low-level stuff, but coupled with my lucky feat, boy, is this going to be a fun campaign, I reckon, with clutch moves like that. TLDR. New Time Wizard rewrites time, preventing a potentially deadly critical hit on a friend in an unwarranted bar fight. A side quest that shocked the entire party. Gasp. To start the story, it is essential to know each of the characters' parts of this story. Dor the Strengthened, an Oathbreaker paladin. Lauder, a wild magic sorcerer, and my character, a half-elf cleric. Just finished a big fight with a chromatic dragon. As we finished the war, we went into a town and went to the tavern, as one normally does. Lauder stayed in the tavern while Dor the Strengthened and I went into the city looking for some trouble in the streets. As Dor the Strengthened and I left the tavern, screams came from down the road, and Dor ran straight towards the noise. When we got there, we met with a fire giant threatening a family. Dor ended up making a deal with the giant to bring the head of an ice giant from the other side of town. Ooh. As Dor and I made our way to the giant's hangout spot, we were met with an ice giant, our target, and 5 other giants. Dor said to our DM, "I will intimidate them." Our DM said it would take a roll higher than a 19 to be able to intimidate him. Dor, however, rolled a nat 20. He got the other 5 giants to hold down the ice giant, making them all be paralyzed in fear. Dor then said to our DM, "I want to intimidate them again. I want the other giants to hold him down." Nat 20. In fear for their lives, the giants held down the giant out of pure terror. As Dor approached, he walked over and carved a symbol on the face of the giant. Then, completely out of character, Dor says to the giants, "That you bring me his head if you want to live." The giants cried as they behead their leader. This shocked both me and the DM. Dor previously was the good guy, always doing the right thing, even if it was hard to do. We got the head and brought it to the fire giant. We gave it to him and got all of his money for defeating his rival, after which Dor asked the DM, "For the hell of it, can I intimidate him as well?" Which the DM hesitantly allowed. He rolled at a 19, and Dor struck fear into the eyes of the fire giant and forced him to serve the people whose debts we were trying to pay off. Now, I don't know. I think the last action would have robbed him of his paladin powers, but I don't know. I don't know much about Oathbreakers. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again. Man, was that a wild batch of stories. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, to ring that bell to get notified if we post or go live, and if you want to catch us really live, do so on our Twitch. And make sure, if you want to check out our 30 to 60 second clips, TikTok is the way to go. And, of course, if you want to submit a story yourself, r/MrRipper is the place to post it. Links are in the description below. That being said, if you want to come find me, Brian Von VA, you can do so anywhere on any social media. Twitch is preferred, YouTube is great, Twitter is A-OK. That being said, I try to end things on a positive note, and I just want to say this. Randomness is sometimes the best part of a campaign. And let me tell you, when I used to DM back in the day, I had a lot of random little tiny events that made people really, really happy. And they don't have to be like extreme, like, oh, there's a lich that came out of nowhere. No, make it cute and fun and friendly. Break up the mundane parts of a story to make somebody happy by introducing a character that can be a fun little reoccurring guy. Or throw out a deck of many things, because deck of many things is always going to bring a surprise. Just go light on the punishment with that, because you're not the enemy of the players. You're the DM, just to make everybody fun and have a good time. But that being said, I just want all of you to know that your imagination is key. Please hold on to that as long as you live, because it's what makes you you. And I respect that, and I love that with all of you. So that being said, I love you all. Please be safe, be happy, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.